Hello and welcome to Crooked Letter Sports Podcast, a show about Mississippi sports and the folks who play them. I'm Tyler Cleveland, joined as always by my co-host and dad, Rick Cleveland of Mississippi Today. Dad, you a little hungover from the weekend?
Not at all.
Man, I'm hungover from that pork you cooked for the Super Bowl. Man, that was incredible.
Yeah, little pork rib roast.
Yeah, well, it was like pork lollipops is what it was, but they were like this big.
Yeah. Well, they were better than the game.
Yeah, well, and just about anything was. What was a defensive struggle, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I mean, it was a game only a defensive coordinator could love. But it, again, I've seen every one of them, 60 of them, and about, it's been about 50-50. About half of them have been snoozers. And
yeah.
This one sort of, to me, fit that category.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about it later, but it was just a tough night for Drake May.
Yeah. It was like a jailbreak every time he went back to pass.
Yeah, I think Seattle's defense had a lot to do with that, where they played lights out. Dad, we can't spend all day talking about the Super Bowl. Today is our college baseball preview show. Going to talk a little bit about Mississippi State at the top, since they are a consensus top 5 team preseason. Then we'll spend some time on Southern Miss and Ole Miss, who are Southern Miss is a consensus ranked team, and Ole Miss is about half of them, and probably will be more in the coming weeks. And this is my favorite time of the year. Personally, is my favorite time of the year.
Yeah, I mean, springtime. We're about there. We're not quite there, but springtime and college baseball, because people consider us pretty much a football state, and really what we do best, at least in college sports, is baseball. And I'm not just talking about how we play. I'm talking about how we support the games and just the general importance that is placed on college baseball here in Mississippi.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, if you look at just the records, look at the records for attendance. And it's not just the big boys, Ole Miss and State. It's Southern Miss. It's Delta State at the D2 level. And then our JUCO baseball is among the best in the country, year in, year out. And at the high school level, if you go to most any 7 or 6A game, even down to 5A and some below, you're going to see a college prospect of some kind, or a pro prospect in some cases. As we had last year, we had a couple of them.
And also some of the most well-manicured baseball diamonds you'll find anywhere are here.
I think it's a requirement to be a high school baseball coach in Mississippi to be anal retentive about your baseball field.
Oh, I think they get down there with nail clippers.
Well, before opening day, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And every time I would go to a game and cover it for a high school, I would always sit kind of like halfway up behind home plate, and I would take a picture during the national anthem, both the teams lined up down the baseline, and inevitably the home team coach would contact me about getting some kind of copy of the original photo, almost every time, because they're so proud of it, and they should be. I mean, and we do know how to grow grass here.
Well, my late great friend Willie Morris always said we write best about what we love most, and
yeah.
I think we do best what we love most, and in Mississippi that's college baseball.
Well, I hope we talk best about what we love most, because today we're gonna jump into it, and I think we have to start with what's going on in Starkville at Mississippi State at Dudy Noble. The Bulldogs are a consensus top 5 team, and I think largely, they do have some nice returning pieces. I know Ace Reese and a couple other guys. And I think the additions they brought in under Coach Brian O'Connor, brought a couple guys from Virginia, and I think those additions have put them in a position to where they're going to be. I mean, it's Omaha or bust.
Yeah, well, I would argue that the biggest addition is Brian O'Connor.
Yeah.
Because he's the, with the possible exception of Jay Johnson down at LSU, is he's been as successful consistently as anybody in college baseball at Virginia.
Right.
I remember covering a regional in Oxford years ago. It was, he was just kind of getting things going at Virginia at the time, but you could tell just the way they took infill and that they were just so well coached, and he continued that for years and years at Virginia, and now we're going to see how it plays in Starkville.
Well, they've done some. I was reading some unorthodox team building during the off season, including like a team fishing trip. Just trying to. I mean, I guess this is what you do when you rebuild a roster from the ground up. Which it wasn't a complete rebuild. I mean, they won over 35 games last year, but they had to, with the guys, the mix of the guys coming back and the new faces, they have done a couple of things like that, which, I mean, it's a cool story, even if it, whether it works or not remains to be seen. But, it's got to be tough to build team chemistry when you're overhauling the roster, the way these teams are now.
Well, I think that's true in all, not just baseball. And
maybe less so in baseball than other sports.
Probably more so in basketball and football, really, than baseball. But state's it's a different situation this year because you got a new coach bringing in new people, and they do need to get to know each other, because college baseball coaches will tell you, major league managers will tell you that chemistry is team chemistry is not overrated. I mean, it's important.
Right. Well, let's talk about some of these guys. We've got we know Ace Reese, the splendid third baseman, coming back. He's preseason All-SEC first team.
Transferred from Houston last year.
Yep. 2025 SEC Newcomer of the Year, a top-tier hitter, an anchor to the lineup. We know Noah Sullivan, the DH, the National College Baseball Writers preseason All-American first teamer, and an All-SEC first teamer.
And could pitch it too.
Yeah. Well, Jack Bauer, Baseball America's preseason Freshman of the Year, has hit 103 on the gun reportedly. These are exciting players to build a team around. And then you add in Jacob Parker, one of the Parker twins from Purvis. You're going to plug him in there, a good right-handed pitcher. And then the transfer from, they got the Thomas Valencius, the left-hander from Virginia, who's, could end up anchoring the weekend rotation. I mean, this is they got a lot to build around, and it's easy to see why the prognosticators have them, picked so highly.
Yeah, I think I saw the SEC coaches poll where they're third.
Well, that's my favorite. Is like they're fifth nationally and third in the SEC. It's like
well, there's a lot of that.
Right.
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
But I think I think for them it's getting off to a good solid start would go a long way. I think early in the year it feels like you have the whole season ahead of you, and if you drop a game over the weekend here, a game over the weekend there. And last year they just kind of added up for state. And you end up being on the road in a regional at Tallahassee. That's not where you want to be. Able to beat Northeastern twice, but then, lost to the Seminoles twice. So I think just getting off to a great start and trying to maintain so that you put yourself to be playing at Duty. I think the whole thing for state is to be playing at Duty Noble. If you can get one of those top 8 seeds, Well,
you could say that about all three of our teams. If you you want to be at home.
Well, yeah, you
when-
definitely want to be at home. I'm just saying the difference between Mississippi State, I mean, last year, I mean, that team was, for all of its problems that it had, that was a team that was good enough to advance past where they did. And I felt like if they're, they give themselves the best chance by playing at home. And I know that sets a pretty high standard. It's like we got to get one of these top, 8 seeds. But, I mean, that's the territory they're in right now. I mean, it's –
well, if you look at the polls, they should. I mean, if the predictors are right, they will be a top 8 seed, but we'll see.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you think is key for them to –
pitching.
Yeah. Right, weekend pitching.
And being, strike throwers. There are too many walks.
Yeah.
That I just think the key for State, and I know they're going to hit the ball. Reese was the best college hitter I saw last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a line drive waiting to happen.
Love those guys.
Yeah, but the key for State will be pitching.
Yeah. Moving on, Dad, the second ranked team, or I should say consensus ranked team, is Southern Miss. They are, I think they were preseason picked second by the coaches to win in the Sun Belt behind
Coastal,
who was the runner-up nationally last year. Kind of odd to see Southern Miss not picked to win their conference, but I guess that says more about Coastal than it does for Southern.
Yeah, and what's really odd is to see them ranked in preseason polls. They always end up ranked.
Yeah.
But they always have to fight their way to get in there. And this year, finally, people have recognized that they've won 40 games 9 straight years, been to 9 straight regionals, super regionals.
Several super regionals in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time that people recognize.
Do you think that they would prefer it to be not ranked? I mean, it seems like early in the year it just kind of puts a target on your back when you otherwise wouldn't have it.
I think Christian Ostrander and Scott Berry before him probably like not being ranked.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, it's because if you're Mississippi State and you have the 5, I mean that's like a giant red glowing. You know what I mean? Anybody who's got you on the schedule has got it circled. But it seems like it just kind of draws attention to the games. So the Southern Miss has got a pretty interesting setup here. They got Colby Allen coming back to be the Friday night guy, ostensibly, and he's, maybe as heralded a returning Friday night guy they've had since probably Tanner Hall.
Yeah, well, he turned down a lot of money to come back.
Yeah,
and the key for him. I mean, he was terrific out of the bullpen. The key for him will be shortening his pitch counts because he's got to go. They want him to go 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 innings. And
well, you can't do that going max effort like he did last year.
Yeah, I mean, so he's going to have to. They say he's developed a changeup, which would really, really help with that. And boy, his slider is wicked.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a really good slider. But their pitching staff, and that's Christian Ostrander's thing. He came up as a pitching coach, and he's one of the best around. He says this is the deepest they've ever been, and that would be pretty deep.
Yeah, well, it needs to be because injuries tend to pile up for whatever reason. But I think the lineup is not. I mean, what they lack in pop, they make up for in consistency. But they got to add some pop to it. But I mean, the Higdon kid, Ben Higdon, the outfielder that transferred from Kentucky last year, the catcher Tucker Stockman. Preseason Sun Belt first team. I mean, they've got some pieces, and I can't wait to see what Ty Long does. He was my favorite story, my favorite player that I covered, covering high school sports. he was a fantastic story, and we all remember that state championship game. And then, I think there's so much excitement around him in that program to kind of see what he grows into.
Well, he was pretty good as a freshman, but they say, and I haven't seen him, but they say he's put on like 15, 20 pounds of muscle, and he's hitting moonshots.
He's going the Nick Monastery route.
Yeah, he's hitting a lot of long balls in the preseason. We'll see how that translates.
Well, that's fun because he's already a slick fielder.
Yeah. Well, they have of course, everybody opens up Friday, but nobody opens up quite like Southern Miss does.
They're playing Bakersfield, right?
They play Cal State Bakersfield, which is a preseason top 25 team. But the pitcher they're going to face Friday night is one of the top 2 or 3 pitchers in college baseball. And he throws 100 miles an hour. His name is Jackson Flora. A Mississippi name.
I'm about to say Jackson Flora.
Jackson Flora, yeah.
It's about a 20-minute drive.
So
did UCLA not offer this kid
I don't know,
$500,000 to come pitch for them on Friday night?
I think he beat Southern Cal 1-0 last year, but he's the real deal. So that'll be interesting. In fact, I hope to see that game Friday in person.
Yeah. One more question about Southern Miss before we move on to the Rebels. How do you think they've been able to avoid attrition? Because they're not in a power conference and they don't have, I would assume they don't have the money set aside for baseball the way some of these bigger schools do. And I was worried when, all this happened with the transfer. When I first saw it happening in the NIL, I was worried that programs like Southern Miss would just get pilfered every year.
Well, my answer to that would be that there's a lot of places they could go that are power conference schools where you don't play before the crowds that they play before down there. They're sold out for the season, every game.
Yeah, but it's not about that. It's about money.
Well,
so how do you they've been I assume they've been able to at least be somewhat competitive.
I think they're very competitive in their league, competitive in their league. They're never going to be able to match them.
Yeah.
If baseball ever gets to be where they're paying millions for players,
I was never worried about Troy coming in and raiding the roster. That's not what I was worried about. It's more your Texases and Alabamas and Auburns and Tennessees and
so far, they lost the year they lost Hurston Waldrop to Florida.
Yep.
That was an Omaha team.
It was absolutely an Omaha team. So it already happened once.
It's happened once.
Well,
but it's happened to Power 5, Power 4 schools too.
Yeah.
I mean, they get rated too. So I don't know. So far they've been able to avoid it, and a lot of that has to do with that team chemistry thing.
Yeah. Well, I just don't want college baseball to turn into the NBA with like 4 power teams and everyone else.
Yeah. Well, let's get to Ole Miss.
Thank God there's no tanking. Ole Miss. So I guess we got to start and finish with Hunter Elliott, right? This guy is probably the most accomplished pitcher returning to a college team in Mississippi. Preseason All-American. I don't know where you start with him. He won 10 games and had a bajillion strikeouts last year. How much do you think? How much does it help having a guy like that to anchor?
Well, when you go out there on Friday night in that league and you got a guy that you're pretty sure is going to win,
right?
it's huge. He is. I got to say, he probably pitched as good a college game as I've ever seen pitched in that super regional against Southern 2 years ago when he was just a freshman. You remember that?
Yes. Do you remember the game at the College World Series?
Yeah.
Where he won the national championship?
Yeah,
You recall that?
he's not only, a really talented left-hander with a great assortment of pitches, but he has that it factor. He's at his best when it matters the most.
Well, he pitched fantastic in you can go back his whole career, that North State championship against that absolutely loaded Madison Central team when he was at Tupelo. I knew then that he was going to be really, really good, but to see what he's grown into has just been amazing. How does the rest of that, I don't know enough about their rotation, but it looks like they're going to be leaning on the pitching and the power because they didn't hit for average last year.
Well, that's pretty much what that program has turned into, is a pitching and power.
Yeah.
And they got plenty of power. I'll say this, I think we've talked about State being a consensus top 5, Southern Miss being a top 25. I think Ole Miss is consistently underrated this year.
Easy for you to say.
Consensusly. No, it's not easy.
I thought you were trying to say consistently.
No, they have been underrated by just
the
about
consensus.
everybody.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
I
think they're going to be really good.
Well, here's the deal: is I don't mind them leaning into the power because I feel like the beer showers are one of the coolest things in college baseball. I mean, I hate the waste of beer, but it does look cool on TV, and I feel like they, I think Elko was kind of the, I guess he's the mold, and now they've got the Judd Udermark, who's basically like a clone.
Will Furnace.
They're going to hit for power. I mean, that's just. I'm interested to see how that translates. I feel like they are going to be really, really tough to beat on Friday night, and I don't know how deep it is after that. But I'd love to.
We're going to find out soon.
We're going to find out right off the bat. Which I guess you're most excited about that going to see you want to see the kid from Cal Bakersfield. But early in the year, is there anything you're looking for that'll kind of give you an idea of where this is going?
I think all 3 of them play in one of those classic series. I know the second weekend, Southern Miss is in a deal where they play Purdue, Baylor.
Somewhere in Texas, right?
Yeah. And I think State and Ole Miss are also in these kind of things. I think you'll get a good read then because you'll be facing good pitching all 3 days, and you'll see how deep your staff is pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to spend some time watching all 3 of these teams early in the year. Kind of I love watching them, and I know that we have a lot of players now that are from outside Mississippi, but I love to see the homegrown guys and what they can do. Excited for Jacob Parker at Mississippi State. Really excited for Hunter Elliott. Want to see Ty Long. You know what I mean? I feel like it gives us a great stage to do it, and I'm fired up about it, to be honest.
I can tell.
Oh, all right, Dad. Well, that's look. We need to go to. I don't know what did we decide to call the thing? The Blitz. We're now going to the Blitz. We're going to do a little rapid fire here at the end of the show. This is a new segment we're going to do. We're going to get Rick's reactions. I'm excited to do this. So, Dad, let's start right at the top here with Trinidad Chambliss. Big hearing on Thursday in Pittsburgh. I've signed up to drive you up there. What do you expect?
Well, I'm interested to see how to get to Pittsburgh, for one thing. What's really amazing about this is this court case is probably going to determine a lot of next football season, not only in Mississippi, but on a national scale. If Trinidad is ruled eligible, if he gets to play, he goes in as one of the top 3 Heisman candidates. And Ole Miss is a top 5 teams.
And if he doesn't?
And if he doesn't, it's a whole lot different. Let's just put it that way. I've read all the briefs on the case, and I don't know how he's going to – I have no idea how the judge is going to rule. But I'd say that Ole Miss and Trinidad have a home field advantage.
All right. Dad, your take on the Super Bowl halftime show. We watched it together. I didn't understand a word of it, but it sure was a vibe. The music's not my cup of tea, but I'm not offended by the fact that we had a guy from Puerto Rico as the main. I mean, he's the #1 recording artist in the world right now. Did you see Ronald Acuna Jr.?
I did.
Yeah, he was outside the cafe. They were all dancing around. That was fun.
Yeah.
Dad, the Winter Olympics opening ceremony was a little weird, but it did feature Charlize Theron, Mariah Carey, and one Andrea Bocelli.
The highlight to me was Andrea Bocelli.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody projects like that.
He's 67 years old, too. How about that? He's kept those things in prime condition.
He is incredible.
If there was an event, he would win it. Gold medal. Dad, Sam Darnold, how would you feel if you were a Jets or Vikings fan watching Sam Darnold take the Seahawks to the promised land?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I would hope they're happy, but they could have had him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he played really well, but that was, I mean, the reason we know they won the game was their defense.
Yeah. Well, I just like the meme of the dad in Talladega Nights going, "Good for you, Ricky Bobby." All the Jets and Vikings fans collectively. Dad, we're going to end the show on a sad note, unfortunately. We lost Jim Poole, day before yesterday. I know he was of the famous Poole family of Ole Miss athletes and one of Archie Manning's best friends.
One of Archie's best friends and one of his favorite targets when he was at Ole Miss. And just a wonderful human being, a really good guy who so many facets to him. He was very heavily involved in prison ministries. He would go to the prisons and himself and try to help people. And the Poole family of Ole Miss is really special.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers with them. That's all the time we got this week. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Hope you get to enjoy some college baseball near you very soon. And if you see one of the Cleveland boys out there, please be sure to say hello. Quick reminder to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and read all of Rick's latest writings over at MississippiToday.org. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.